Hello, a very good evening to everyone. Welcome back to our Refresh, Refocus and Relax webinar. My name is Kai. I'm a clinical psychologist in National Cancer Society in Malaysia. And thank you so much again for choosing to be here with us today to learn about our third week's sessions, Progressive Muscle Relaxations. Okay, so before we start, kindly click the share button and share this live to your Facebook and let more people to join us. And if you found this webinar is benefit to you, feel free to share this to your friends and family. You can share through YouTube as well. Okay, so we not just film it on Facebook, we do it on YouTube as well. Okay, so before we start, here with me is my trainee clinical psychologist, Jian Wei. Will be the one who speak for this topic and lead us to practice these progressive muscle relaxations. And if you have any questions, kindly leave your comment in the chat box and we will address at the end of our talks. So now, let me pass back this floor to Jian Wei to start your topic.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. And hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for this week's relaxation webinar. For all of you who are new here, my name is Jian Wei, and I'm the trainee clinical psychologist here in NCSM. So with today, we will be learning a new skill together, like you mentioned, called the Progressive Muscle Relaxation Technique. So this is going to be quite an interesting technique as we will focus on the use of our muscles to promote a sense of relaxation. And it's much more different compared to both the breathing techniques that we have learned so far. So you're probably wondering, how does it work? Well, we will be talking about this today and also why it works, who it works for, its benefits, and towards the end, we will be practicing the technique together. So let's begin, shall we? Right. I think you can go to the next slide as well. So what is progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR for short? PMR is a relaxation technique developed during the 1920s, and it involves the active contraction and the progressive releasing of our muscles to reduce tension in our body. In other words, it's just a simple practice of tensing and releasing one muscle group at a time to promote a sense of relaxation. Now, it's a powerful relaxation technique with a lot of long-term benefits that we will be talking about later on as well, that can actually help us deal with the stress and our anxieties. And the technique of progressive muscle relaxation is based on this theory that physical relaxation can promote mental relaxation. So it further reinforces the mind-body connection. Okay? So why does it work? Well, sometimes, do you notice that during times of stress and anxiety, we tend to feel very stiff or very tense around areas of our body? Well, the body actually responds to stress with muscle tension, and this can actually cause a lot of pain or discomfort sometimes. Now, in turn, tense muscles, they relay to the body that it's stress, and that keeps this cycle of stress and muscle tension going and going along the way. So what can we do to help? So with progressive muscle relaxation, it actually helps break this cycle of muscle tension and stress by activating both the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. This is something that we've talked about in the past as well. Hope you all can remember it. If not, we're going to talk about it now as well. Now, it's found that with muscle tension, it actually activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for our body's stress response. On the other hand, when we actively relax our muscles, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the relaxation response in our body. And it helps us to just relax and go back to a calm rhythm. Now, with both the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system effectively activating during tension and relaxation, this creates a state of deep relaxation as we can't feel relaxed and stressed both at the same time in our body. So, in theory, we have to create stress to relax. All right. So, who can benefit from PMR? With studies, it has shown that PMR can be beneficial to cancer patients who practice the technique. It was found that PMR can be helpful in the reduction of cortisol, the hormone that's associated with stress. And it can also help with the improvement of stress control over time. It was also found that with PMR, it can be helpful to cope with treatment-induced nausea and vomiting. So these are some of the side effects of chemotherapy as well. Now, as for caregivers, it's found that PMR is beneficial to them for those who practice the technique, as it can be helpful for them to cope with difficulties like stress, anxiety, and even caregiver fatigue. Now, it also has benefits in improving their mental quality of life. But all in all, PMR can be practiced by everyone as it is easy to do and quick to learn. But, however, it's important to remember that although PMR can be practiced by everyone, it may not work for everyone. So we're all different. And it is important to take note that if you have a history of muscle spasms, back problems, or any serious injuries that may be aggravated by tensing muscles, you may need to consult a doctor first before practicing this technique. But don't worry, if this technique doesn't work, what matters is there are also other techniques that you can try. And that's something that we've been doing for the past 2 weeks, including this week and the one next week. What matters is you're able to find the right technique that resonates with you, fits your lifestyle. And in a sense, it's able to allow you to focus your mind to elicit the relaxation response. So up next, we're going to talk a bit about the benefits of PMR. With PMR, it's actually packed with benefits such as pain management. PMR can reduce pain by helping to relax the muscles. When the muscles are relaxed, it relieves the pressure of nerves and can reduce pain levels. There can also be a reduction in the perception of muscle pain through the technique if you practice over time. With PMR, it can also help with sleep promotion and insomnia. It was found that it can promote better quality sleep by helping to reduce stress levels. When the body is stressed and tense, it is more difficult to fall asleep. By reducing the stress levels, progressive muscle relaxation can help improve sleep quality and help with falling asleep. Now, it is also helpful for tension headache reliefs. Now, tight muscles often cause tension headaches in the neck, in the shoulders, and with progressive muscle relaxation, they can help relieve tension headaches by relaxing and loosening the muscles causing pain, such as the neck and the shoulders. Now, lastly, with PMR, it also helps with blood pressure reduction. Now, high blood pressure is a common problem today. Relaxing the muscles can help reduce blood pressure. But because of that, PMR can be helpful as a tool for someone with high blood pressure. All right. So up next, we have some tips for beginners. So if you're new to this technique, here are some things for you to take note of. For PMR, you can set aside 15 to 20 minutes before you practice the technique. And just make sure that when you try it or when you do it, you can do so in a quiet and comfortable area. To avoid distractions, you can also turn off your phone during the practice to help you focus better along the way. Now, when practicing the activity, avoid holding your breath, as it only causes more tension when you practice. So as you tense your muscles later on, make sure you inhale deeply as you do so, and to exhale fully when you relax. For practice, we work on a sequence of muscles one by one. So be it from top to bottom or bottom to top. So if this does not work for you later on, you can choose to move in a sequence that works best for you. So meaning if you like to start from head first and move all the way down, or from your toes first and move all the way up, that's perfectly fine. Also, an important thing to note, make sure you wear loose clothing, as when we are doing this activity, it involves a lot of moving. So it's best to be comfortable when you're trying this technique later on. Now, most importantly as well, if this technique works for you, you can practice this anytime, even if you're feeling calm. This can make it a lot easier for you to learn the method along the way. Now, lastly, it may help you to listen to a PMR recording. So this way, when you are practicing this technique, you can follow the steps without constantly thinking about the instructions. And somehow it keeps your mind from being distracted. So you can always come back to this recording of the webinar to listen to the steps again in the future. But also, towards the end of the slides later on, we will just link some examples of PMR videos for your reference so that in the future, you can always take a look at it and give it a try. Now, with that being said as well, we would like to link a video of a quick PMR tutorial that was conducted by NCSM. So this is just to give you an idea of what it looks like and how we can do it later on when we practice together. So, Kai, if you may, I think you can play the video now. Lah. Okay, so that's just a quick tutorial of the PMR technique that we can do later on. So just take note. When you are... Oh, okay. So I think we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so take note. When you're tensing your muscles later, just make sure to do it gently, okay? And not to the level where you will strain your muscles, okay? So with that being said, let's get started, shall we? So take note, I'm not able to see any of you right now, so I hope that you're all able to find a place where it's quiet for you and where you can remain undisturbed. If possible, be in an environment where it is peaceful and tranquil for you. Somewhere like a safe space, be it your room, your living room, or wherever you find comfortable. If you want to be alone, make sure to let others know, okay? If not, if you want others to join you as well, feel free to invite them to participate during the practice later on. Now, just know that it is normal for your mind to wander off, and that's okay. Just remind yourself to come back to the present whenever you lose focus. All right? So I think we can begin with the practice now. So I'll give you all some time to sit back in a comfortable position. You can do it on your chair, okay? And you may close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. At any point, if you need any guidance, you may choose to look at the slides as well for specific areas of muscle groups that we will be focusing on. So I think let's begin. And I want all of you to begin by taking a deep breath and noticing the feeling of air going to your lungs. Hold your breath for a few seconds if possible. Release the breath slowly and let the tension leave your body. If possible, take in another deep breath and hold it. Okay. So again, slowly release the air. Now, even slower, try to take in another breath. Fill in your lungs and hold the air. Okay, so slowly release the breath now. And imagine the feeling of tension leaving your body. Okay, so now let's move your attention to your feet. Begin to tense your feet by curling your toes and the arch of your foot. Remember to do it gently to the point where it wouldn't strain your foot. Hold onto the tension and notice what it feels like as you slowly take a breath. Now release the tension in your foot and breathe out. Try to notice this new feeling of relaxation. Next, begin to focus on your lower leg. Tense the muscles in your calves. Hold them tightly and pay attention to the feeling of tension as you slowly take a breath. Now slowly release the tension from your calves and slowly breathe out. Now again, notice the feeling of relaxation. So I want you all to remember to continue taking deep breaths each time you tense your muscles and each time you relax, you can exhale. So next, tense the muscle of your upper leg. You can do this by tightly squeezing your thighs together. Now make sure you feel the tenseness without going to the point of strain. And release. Feel the tension leave your muscles. So now, let's begin to tense your stomach and your chest. You can do this by sucking your stomach in. Squeeze harder and hold the tension. So just a little bit longer, okay? Now, release the tension and allow your body to go limp, to be relaxed. Let yourself notice the feelings of relaxation. I want you to continue taking deep breaths and breathe in slowly, noticing the air, feel your lungs, and then hold it. Okay, now release the air slowly, feel it leaving your lungs. Now next, let's try to tense the muscles in our back by bringing our shoulders together behind you. If possible, hold them tightly. Tense them as hard as you can without straining, and keep holding. And slowly release the tension from your back. Feel the tension leaving your body and experience this new feeling of relaxation. Notice how different your body feels when you allow it to relax. Up next, we shall tense our arms all the way from your hands to your shoulders. Make a fist and squeeze all the way up to your arm and hold it. Release the tension from your arms and your shoulders and notice the feelings of relaxation in your fingers, your hands, your arms, and shoulders. Notice how your arms feel at ease and relaxed. So now let's try to move up to our neck and our head. If possible, tense your face and your neck by distorting the muscles around your eyes and your mouth. Release the tension now. And again, notice the feeling of relaxation. Okay. Now, finally, it's time to tense your entire body. Tense your feet, your legs, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your head, and your neck. Tense harder without straining and hold the tension. Now, you may slowly release and breathe out. Allow your whole body to go limp, to be relaxed, and try to pay attention to this new feeling. And how different is it from when you have that feeling of tension in your body? And begin to wake your body up by slowly moving your muscles. You can adjust your arms, you can adjust your legs, you can stretch your muscles, and you can open your eyes when you are ready. Okay, I think that should be enough time. I hope this was beneficial for all of you who have tried this, as well as those who will be trying it after this live session. And we would love to hear if you have any questions or any feedback in the comments. So I think that should be it with the practice, and I think we can proceed to the next slide from here. So here's a gentle reminder for our last relaxation webinar. We will be practicing a technique called guided imagery, which this time requires us to use our mind to imagine peaceful scenes, events, or objects to stimulate our body's relaxation response. Again, very different from today's activity and the ones we've practiced before. So let's try it out together next week on the 26th of May. It's going to be at the same time again from 8 to 8:45 p.m. It's going to be a very interesting and unique technique to try. So I do hope all of us can come together to learn about the new skill. All right. So with the next slide as well, as we mentioned earlier, here are some examples or tutorials of PMR from YouTube. It's something that you can refer on in the future. And after this, we will be posting the comments, posting the links to the comment section later on. So you can just go there and click on it to refer to it. Okay. And with the next slide, it's just another gentle reminder as well. We've been doing this before and we'll keep doing it. So just take note that with the techniques we've learned so far, this is not a substitution for seeking help from a mental health professional. So at any point, if you notice that you have any difficulties or problems that are affecting you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us here in SCSM. Again, for those who are new here, just take note that our sessions are free of charge to individuals who are dealing with cancer and for caregivers as well. So with that being said, I think we can move on to our Q&A section now. I would also like to invite Kai now to join us for our Q&A session. Okay, and I think, with the questions, with the comments, for all of you watching, please feel free to drop in any comments, any questions, and we can address them together. All right?
I think we give them some time to jot their questions. Yeah, just
Yeah.
now I realized that when Jimmy try to read the script for the progressive muscle relaxations, then I try to do it. Oh, actually, I quite felt relaxing, to be honest.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's somewhat, I can't explain it, but it's somewhat magical. It's ironic that we have to create stress to relax. Who would have thought of it, right? Like when you're
Yeah.
stressed, why should I create more stress into my body? But somehow it works.
True.
I think
And I think I can observe the difference of the stress, the tense, and the relaxed, the difference of it. So I can sense that when I'm anxious or whenever I'm worried, then I can feel like, hey, my muscle is tensing. So this is how it feels when it tense. And then when I'm relaxed, is the totally relaxed one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
definitely like it's two opposites.
I
So
see.
the guy who actually developed this technique, way back in the 1920s, he's actually an American researcher and psychologist. So it's I still think about it to this day, like how did he even manage to find this, to even come up with an idea to develop a technique like this? But it actually stems from that theory, that with physical relaxation, it creates mental relaxation as well. So hey, kudos to him for creating something like that.
Yeah, and I realized that all this while I'm teaching my patients and my client on using progressive muscle relaxation, but I'm the one not using it. Until today,
Right,
you start with the script, then I slowly
right,
practice, and I realized that, oh wow, such a difference.
right, right. And
Yeah.
and that's the thing as well. I mean, like as who we are, we're like mental health professionals. I'm a trainee, you're a clinical psychologist. That's the irony. We teach our clients a lot of techniques and a lot of skills that are very beneficial to them. But somehow we tend to miss out that these are skills that we can use as well at the end of the day. You know?
True. Yep.
Mm.
And oh wow, there's questions already.
Okay,
So
all right.
let's see.
Uh,
So hi Jianwei, what's the purpose of tensing up the muscles? How is it any different from stretching? Also, if there's a different procedure for sole muscle post workout, seems like there's three questions here. Maybe Jianwei,
there's
you want to
questions.
try? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, at any point, if I miss out anything, feel free to jump right in, okay? So
Yep.
I think with Jay, the tensing of muscles, it's very different from stretching. With tensing, it's more towards contraction. So meaning you're pulling your muscles towards you. So by doing so, it actually creates tension. As you are contracting them, it promotes this sense of tension towards your muscles, and it's alerting your body that, hey, with muscle tension, there is stress. Now, when it comes to stretching, or in a sense, we call it relaxing or expanding the muscles, it removes or it takes away that tension from your body. And it alerts your body that, hey, with tension gone, there's no need to stress. Your body brings itself back to this calm and relaxed state. And it goes back to your mind as well. With a calm mind, calm body, and calm body, calm mind. With the third question though, is there a procedure for sore muscles post-workout? That one, Kai, would you like to join in on this one? For
Is there a
sore
different procedure?
muscles,
Sore muscle. I
right,
think he mentions that after workout, sometimes you will feel muscle
right,
pain,
right,
right?
right.
I actually I didn't try before, but
Mm-hmm.
perhaps you can. I'm not sure whether there's a different procedure or not, to be honest, from my side.
Right.
But I do think that if you feel muscle pain, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can try this out actually, because if I use back the cancer patients example that you mentioned just now, Jimmy, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that sometimes when cancer patients they go through the pain when they're doing chemotherapy or
Mm-hmm.
radiotherapy, right? So I guess the research mentions that it's quite useful for them, okay,
Right,
to release their side effect whenever they
right,
come back from the radiotherapy or chemotherapy
right,
after they use this technique, right? Yeah. So I guess in the pain management, this part is kind of
right,
similar to the sore muscles that Jay Wong has mentioned. How do you think?
right. Right. I'm
Mm,
also thinking, yeah, in whatever you just mentioned now, definitely makes
mm,
sense. But also
mm,
thinking at the same time, with post-workouts, sometimes the soreness comes from the tearing of muscles. So of course, with
mm,
tension and
mm,
practicing this technique, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I would advise to do it with care as well, to not strain your muscles even further. And of course, if you notice that it works for you, that's what matters, as long as it works best for you.
mm,
But I feel like, Jay, if you do practice this activity after and you do feel more pain, I mean, I would advise to take a break from it first and
mm,
practice it after when the soreness has gone away. And
mm,
I hope that answers the question.
mm.
Kai, is there anything to add on from there as well?
I think so far no for my side, but perhaps Jay, you
Okay,
can try out these
excellent.
techniques when you have
Yeah,
sore muscles. Then feel free come and PM us,
yeah,
yeah, and tell us that how's the outcome and all that.
right.
Yeah, we are open to learn also, right?
Mhm. It's
Okay.
definitely a good question. It's something that I don't think I've ever
Mm,
thought of as well, especially with workout.
mm.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. So thanks for your questions. And the next
Okay.
one, okay, the next one is also from Facebook. I always clench my
Mhm.
jaw when I'm anxious. Is there any quick tips or fix for this other than PMR? Other than
Mhm.
PMR.
INPM, that's a good question. Oh,
Mm,
so here's the thing with clenching your jaw. That's something that I
mm,
suffer from as well. So with PMR, there's also some areas or muscle groups where you can focus onto your face. So if you notice that clenching your jaw is something that you deal with, remember that quote. You got to create stress to relax. So maybe with the jaw, it's an area where you can focus on during those sequence where you can clench it first,
mm,
breathe in slowly, take about 5 seconds, and then slowly loosen your jaw and exhale. That's something that you can repeat a few times during the practice of progressive muscle relaxation. But I'm thinking, as you've mentioned, with other techniques to help you relax, there's also techniques that we've practiced together in the past. So that's
mm,
something I think you can refer to with the videos on our Facebook or YouTube, where we focus on box breathing and 478 breathing. It's something, it's a technique that focuses on breathing to promote relaxation. And it's very mindful where you focus on just two things, counting and breathing. And if you do that often, you tend to notice that it can somehow take your mind away from the clenching of your jaw.
mm.
Yeah. What are your
Yep.
thoughts about
Yep.
that, Kai?
Mm. I think all the techniques that you've given is what I want to say. Okay, but
Okay.
but I would say that if you still feel anxious and you think that all this activity is like not effective for you,
Mhm.
okay, then maybe it's time to seek for mental
Yeah.
professional help lah, mental health professional. Yeah, to see what is the root issue and what are the trigger that make you feel anxious and
Mhm.
all that. Yeah, but do
Mhm.
try the PMR and the tips that Jinwei have mentioned just now. If not, then you
Mhm.
can seek for the other resource like mental health professional.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see for the next question from Facebook as well. I'm suffer and
Mhm.
muscle injury from a traumatic accident. So sorry to
Mm.
hear that. And can I still
Mhm.
practice PMR?
Okay. Um, this one, I think I'll say first, and then anything you can add on. So
Yeah.
with injury from a traumatic accident, so this one we gotta be a bit more cautious of it as well, because with PMR, right? Yes, everyone can practice it, but it might not work for everyone. When it comes to an injury, I think it's something that you can try to consult a doctor first to see whether if this contraction or expansion of muscles will be suitable for you. Because sometimes with this activity, it might trigger further injury, and that's not advised for us. But with other techniques, definitely, I think I've mentioned this to Esan as well. With other techniques, we can also what am I trying to say? I think I lost my train of thought. Sorry. So with the techniques that we've practiced in the past 2 weeks, it's definitely something that you can give it a try. Perhaps it may be more beneficial for you because it doesn't require much materials, and it just requires you to breathe in and breathe out. Right. Okay.
So yeah, so I think some of the people when they practice progressive muscle relaxations, right, they are not tensing, but they are try to strain it until like very tight. Yeah, so I
Right.
think try not to do it. When we say tensing means that you just try to tight for
Right.
tight it for 5 seconds. Yeah, but
It's just
don't
a
over tight it.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, don't overdo it. Okay,
Right.
if you feel any like muscle injury or any pain from doing this PMR, try not to continue it lah. Like what Jamin mentions, you can always consult maybe psychologist or maybe doctor to see whether this technique is effective for you or not.
Mhm.
Okay, so hope we answer your questions, and let's see whether we have another questions or not. Yeah, before we move in to maybe another questions, just now I remember when I'm in office, my colleague suddenly asked me that, and because she know that today we are practicing this progressive muscle relaxation. So basically she asked me that whenever she try to practice this progressive muscle relaxation, right, she felt that she have migraine.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried to ask her and she just say that whenever she tense and
Mhm.
she tight the muscle, she feel
Oh,
headache and migraine.
okay. All right. And like that's the ironic part as well, because with PMR, it can help you take away the tension of the headaches, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I think if based on what you have mentioned just now, it depends on the individual. Okay,
Yeah, that's
some
true.
of them might suitable for this technique, some
Mhm.
of them might not be suitable for this technique,
Right, right,
right?
right.
And another thing is some of the people they just practice like first or twice,
Mm,
and then they give up already because they think that, oh, I'm feeling the migraine.
yeah.
Maybe, just a maybe, I told her that maybe you can try like third or fourth time
Okay.
in a
Yeah.
week. If still the migraine is persistent, okay, there's two reasons. One is maybe the way you tense the muscle
Mhm.
is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second reason might be this technique really not suitable for her.
Yeah, yeah. It could be the case as well. But it's actually one
Yeah.
of two things. I think it's the way we tense the muscle. Sometimes it might be too intense, too strong,
Yeah.
may cause an area where might cause an injury or even headache. But I think the main point is also like what you mentioned, it's not for everyone. What matters is we find a technique that works best for us, that can fit into our lifestyle. And if it's effective for us, works for us, no problem. We don't need to learn all of it or do all of
Yeah.
it. At least
Yeah.
just have one, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I told her the third reason also. You know, sometimes when
Uh-huh.
people like tensing each muscle, right? Like
Yeah.
for example, when maybe you tense your arm here,
Yeah.
okay, then their body will be like so automatically they tense every part
Yeah.
of
Ah,
their body part. You know, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's true.
think this caused her to have migraine also because maybe she's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
focused is tensing her
Yeah.
head, her shoulder and chest and
Yeah.
leg also
Yeah.
tensing. Right. So it might
It's
be a reason also.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
an automatic response. Like one part is tense, you kind of see, even as I'm doing this, my forehead kind of like tenses up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I just tell the colleague that maybe you just try out first. In a week, you still feel migraine, then maybe you can try our box breathing or 478 technique, and
definitely.
even our next week sessions, the guided imagery. Something interesting coming soon. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, so let's see whether we still have any questions. Maybe we give them like 30 seconds to think about whether they have questions or not. Then I let Jenwei to summarize the whole sessions.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Can.
Okay.
Yeah. I think with next week's webinar, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be guided imagery, and it's going to use our mind this time to actually relax. Faster techniques, using our lungs to breathe. This time we're using our muscles. Next one, we're using our mind. So I feel like we've covered it all.
Yeah. And I think today's progressive muscle relaxation is quite new to everyone as well. Right. So I guess that maybe they need some time to learn about it. And Jimmy, can you help to summarize the whole sessions for today?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, with PMR, it's quite a unique technique, as it focuses on our muscles to create a sense of relaxation, right? And who would have thought it would work? But somehow in 1920s, this guy managed to do it, right? So today, we explored the effects of PMR and what it can do to help us. And most importantly, this technique, like you mentioned as well, requires a lot of practice, and a lot of practice makes perfect. So if you ever need help, you can always come back to the recording of today's webinar to relearn the steps accordingly. If not, we will also link 3 of the YouTube videos in the comment section. So it's something that you can go through maybe in the future. So if you found this technique helpful, do pass this technique to anyone or whoever you feel that can benefit from this. And if you all had fun today, please feel free to share the link to your friends, your family, so that they can join in for the last session together for the coming week. And with that being said, this concludes our session today. Thank you, Kai, and thank you all for coming in today. I wish you all a very good night and see you all next week. Okay?
Thank you so much.